FTC has impacted my life in many ways. I would think that changed me, and it also changed my family around me. You know, a lot of times we ask people to go back into the same situation in our life, and we put them back in the same situation. And FTC allowed my family to grow and understand who I was and who I have become now. One thing I could say about how FTC has impacted my life is I'm a totally different person today. I'm no longer afraid to look over my shoulder, or I can be who I am today. It's changed me in so many ways. I'm a father. My son's safety means a lot today. FTC has granted me a new life, a new beginning. It has allowed me to be the person I am today. A mentor in the community allows me to change people's life by my experience and allow me to give back. And I could really say that FTC has allowed me to gain a different perspective and grow who I am today.
I've been working with Cass County since 2003, and I started in the prosecutor's office. I remember my first 2 years in the office, we had 30 termination trials, termination of parental rights, and those aren't good situations. Nobody wants to terminate parental rights on the prosecutor's side, but it needs to happen. So we all knew something needed to change, and we needed to approach these cases in a different way. And through Family Treatment Court, we were able to do that, where it takes more of a non-adversarial approach to these cases. And we started to see these parents started trusting us more. They knew we were working hard. They knew we wanted the best for them and the best for their children.
The system in place for Family Treatment Court instills both respect for the participants and allows them to trust us by having daily contact with case managers and case aides, weekly contact with the rest of the team via court hearings and staffings. We are available to meet with them on a daily basis. We're all available 24/7 by a phone call or an email. We try to meet them on their level, wherever they need to be met, whether that it's at their house or here at the courtroom, or if they're locked up over at the jail. But to meet them on their level and let them know that we've been with others that have been in their spot, that others who have been where they're at have made it through and have graduated and gotten their kids back. I think that instills with them a sense that they can believe us, that they can trust us, that we won't work against them to keep them from getting their kids back, but rather we will work for them. We will advocate for them, even though we're a member of the team. Telling them early on that the team works on a consensus level, and that I, as a parent attorney, am there to advocate for them on the team, helps them understand that even though it's a consensus, someone is speaking for them, that we're looking for their best interest to try to reunite them with the children, which is in the best interest of everybody.
So I think one of the greatest benefits of the treatment court model in dealing with these cases is that you have consistent daily contact with a wide web of individuals whose entire focus is to make sure that the children's have the least amount of negative impact in what is a chaotic and awful painful situation. I think that the number of case managers and parent aides and therapists and clinicians from the trauma-focused therapy, we have a therapist who works specifically with young children. I think that almost daily contact sort of normalizes and reassures the children that all the adults are working for their benefit. One of the things we did recently is we had a what we call a sober event, and it's where we just go out into the community and try and find something normal to do, to create memories for these kids that we've all enjoyed growing up with our families when we have a more normalized or more normal upbringing. So we all went ice skating at Wing Stadium up in Kalamazoo. The families came, the kids come, a lot of the staff from Family Treatment Court come up there. So these people just become a normal part of the kids' lives. And then afterwards we hear the feedback from the kids when we meet with them, and they talk about how nice it was to meet with their parents, to, you know, go ice skating and have these opportunities that they've never had before. Those are not something that you get in traditional DHS track. There's not that, you know, overwhelming, almost an avalanche of, you know, healthy adults who are there working with the kids. And we always channel everything back to the positives of their parents and the work that their parents are doing. So as the parents start showing that improvement, you can see that reflected in the kids.
You know, as a prosecutor for over 30 years, I know that my primary job in this community is to ensure that justice is done and that the public is protected. And drugs certainly create a huge challenge when it comes to accomplishing those missions, whether it's methamphetamine or heroin, cocaine, or even alcohol or marijuana. These things can destroy communities and certainly destroy families. That's why I'm so heartened that we have the Family Treatment Court here in Cass County. What our Family Treatment Court gives us is something that we haven't had for many decades. For the first part of my career, there just wasn't enough treatment. But what Family Treatment Court does is it gives families and a community a chance to be put back together again, to make a family unit whole once more, and that certainly brings respect not only to the victims of crime, also to the participants in the Family Treatment Court and to our community as a whole. And I'm very pleased that we have a Family Treatment Court to help us accomplish that mission of bringing justice and respect to everyone involved in the system.
FTC can build trust between participants in the court system because it gives them an avenue where they can get their kids back in a safe, secure environment where they have supports in the system, and especially if they're on probation or parole, they get some additional services that traditionally the Department of Corrections cannot give because we don't have those resources. So having those resources and support really adds to the whole FTC process and making sure that they're committed in getting their children back, and then also have that support once they have their children back and once they're out of the system.
You know, when it comes to trust, I think a lot of the folks that are in the court system or the DHS system, it's often adversarial in nature, and the folks are very mistrustful of authority figures. And I think with the FTC program or other problem-solving courts, it's so different that it's a positive, it's strength-based. They hear praise in the courtroom, and that just breaks down a lot of that mistrust. You know, and I think it's really helpful for a lot of the folks because they come from systems where they think, you know, the court's out to get you, this kind of thing, and it really breaks that down because the court's not out to get them, and they hear it, they feel it, they sense it from the folks in the courtrooms and case managers and everybody.
Most definitely, and also being honest in whatever you're doing or ask a question. Definitely honesty is always key, and being transparent. So any question that they have, if you don't have the answer, it's always best to say I don't know to something. They will respect you a lot more.
Right.
And that helps build the trust, and you will figure out what the answer is, and it kind of plays in that teamwork together because they're part of the team as well. Actually, they're the main important person of the team, so
Right.
I think that helps them.
And that honesty and that consistent message across the team is so important too for that trust building. Absolutely.
All right, as you probably now understand, the purpose behind treatment courts is to effectively work with a participant so that it's treatment driven and it meets their needs, and at the same time meeting the needs of the community. Throughout the process, we build up trust with all the participants, and that trust and that support that a team can provide makes it more effective for them to successfully remain sober. But more important than just remaining sober is that they now have some balances in their life, because we try to talk about all their domains. Besides being sober, we want to make sure that people have the ability to work, are back at work, have a safe place at home, And the most important place for children is home with their parents who can safely parent their children because they're now sober and balanced.
If I could tell the participants one thing, it is to be honest, give everything to this program, and to be able to experience your life in a whole different way. This program has changed me in so many ways. I learned how to love myself, to love my family, and to trust people in a different light. It has changed me in so many ways. I'm thankful today to be able to stand here as a mentor, a peer recovery coach, and to be able to give back to the community the way it has given back to me. And this courtroom, this FTC group has become my family, and I'm thankful for that.